Hey, this is Judah Mantel from SceneForge Studio, and in this video I'm going to go over version 0.6.13. It has a great new feature that allows you to add super easy color correction and color grading to your virtual cameras using LUTs, or lookup tables. Now, what lookup tables are essentially files that contain information for a rendering system, so it's a video editor, or sometimes even a camera, or in this case a 3D engine like SceneForge, that tells it kind of what adjustments to make to different colors in your frame. So it's used in basically every standard color correction workflow, and it's a great way to add more advanced filters or stylistic choices to your footage without it being very default like you can see here. So as you can see in the shoot mode, there's a new section that says select LUT file. Now SceneForge accepts two different types of LUT workflows: cube files and image files set up in a specific way. Now, cube files are readily available from the internet in free variety packs, or you can purchase them from individual artists, which is great. And you can just select this to open up the file browser. And I'm going to select, I have my folder here full of 35 free LUTs I got from the internet. And I'm going to select a preset here. So if I'm going to select, let's say, this faded LUT, you can see it gets applied to my camera, and we have this really nice faded film washed out look. And this only gets applied to our virtual camera, so it does not get applied to our scene camera, as you can see here. And it's a way to kind of just make changes or corrections to the color, or add stylistic choices like this. So we can kind of create an interesting desert looking scene without actually putting too much effort into the coloring of the actual 3D stage itself. And I can go through some more here just so you see this example. This one's a little more blue. This one's much darker. And you can see like that. Now I'm going to clear this out by clicking the X. Now the other workflow is using image LUTs. Now SceneForge accepts 3D LUT files unwrapped in a 32 by 32 by 32 format, unwrapped into a 1024 by 32 pixel image. So here I have this. You can see I have my 32 individual squares here lined up in a row. So it's 1024 by 32 pixels. Now this is a neutral LUT, meaning this image file represents no changes to the way our camera renders our scene. So if I were to select my LUT file, and I'm going to go to my downloads folder, and I'm going to actually grab that neutral LUT, you can see it's selected, but no changes are made because it doesn't have any of that altered information. But if I were to open this up in Photoshop and make some adjustments to it by, let's say, just bringing down the exposure, and then I'm going to export this as alteredlut.png, you can see now if I select my LUT file and I select my altered LUT, because it has that altered data, it now uses this lower exposure image here. I'm going to clear that out. Now, of course, tweaking these individual or these neutral LUT files is not very intuitive, because I have no idea what this is going to look like. So I'm going to undo this by deleting this layering. And now let's talk about how we can actually get a more real-world example of using this system. So in another Photoshop tab, I have a frame render from SceneForge. So this was just an image I took from the snapshot button, and I opened up in Photoshop. Now all I have to do is use the adjustment layer tool, or system here, and I can make some changes to the way my image looks. Now this is pretty much the same in a bunch of other photo editing softwares. I'm just using Photoshop for this example. So you can see I can make some changes here to get a more interesting image. Make it look like it's underwater, kind of. That's good. It's very basic, but you can see the change there. Now all I have to do is take these two layers, these two changes that we made, which you can see can be toggled on and off. I'm going to copy them and move them to my LUT file over here. So I'm going to go over here. I'm just going to drag these onto this file. So now my neutral LUT has these filters applied. So now when I export this as my altered LUT, and I load that back in, you can see we have our greenish underwater looking scene here. So that is how you can create your own LUTs using SceneForge. Now, this is kind of just the beginning of a much more robust color correction and color grading system being included with SceneForge. So in the future, it's going to be a bigger menu where you can control all of your lens options, as well as all of the color grading things that you would get inside the adjustment layers, just directly inside SceneForge, making it a little bit easier. But until then, this is a great way to kind of just take a style of a certain movie you like, grabbing that LUT file from the internet and putting it into your scene here, which adds so much more variety and customization to what you can do. So again, I highly recommend kind of trying to create your own LUTs using Photoshop, and certainly purchasing different cube files from the various very talented artists online. A lot of content creators on YouTube have them, and definitely experiment with what you can use the system for. And so with that, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.